All right. This is our second attempt today to get this video live. I'm going to wait a few minutes, and I suppose this will either be successful or not. I attempted to use a different computer, and it failed me, and y'all couldn't see me. So I had to redo everything real quick. And so I'm going to give it a few minutes and see whether or not YouTube will recognize this video or if it will block it from anybody seeing it. So today, as you can see, I have my assistant with me. This is producer Mr. Mini Pops, one of my mini cats, 22 of them. And today, I want to let you guys know we're going to be talking about a very serious issue. So if you would, weigh in real quick and tell me whether or not you can hear me, because I want to make sure you can hear professional sound, not computer sound. So I think you can, because I see y'all somewhat responding. All right, so today we're going to be talking about how to get housing fast, and by virtue of that, we're going to be discussing some of the eviction things that are going on with all the states. We're going to go over a lot of numbers and what they mean and what's going to happen for not this Monday, but next Monday. It's very serious. I've talked about it twice already, but each time I am absolutely just kind of sent around the gravity of the sun when I realize how much more serious it's getting by the day, especially looking at these numbers. So, okay, so everybody says they can hear me? Good. So with that being said, we're going to do an intro real quick. My name is Jay Roulette. I'm the owner of Section8Consulting.com. Many of you already know me or know me by my website or also YouTube. I have a very large channel, one of the biggest Section 8 channels and also websites in the U.S. Anyways, I do consulting for individuals and landlords that need assistance with Section 8 housing, low-income housing, public housing, and so on, HUD housing. And today we're going to talk about the things we can do to help each other and also others that are going to be put out of their homes in about approximately 7 days. And so we know as of right now, there's roughly 40 states that this is going to happen, and there's 50 in limbo. One client already pointed out that some cities are actually passing bills. I mean, right now, they're passing them every night trying to stop this because it's so serious. So what I want to tell you guys is this is going to be a bit of a long video, like most of my live videos. So I'd tell you the intro is going to be about 8 minutes. If you're just showing up, you may want to skip past that or later because I need to get through several things. So, all right, so we're going to be moving on. Now, we have a chat window for those of you who like to chat. That's going to be to the right or the left, depending on the phone or if you got a tablet or a computer, and you can chat with me live. Please keep your questions in reserve for at least a few minutes so I can get started, and then we're going to move on to the parts you're here for. Now, moving on from that, let's see here. All right, so the information I want to convey today is, besides the how to get housing fast, I want to discuss what's happening in the states and the gravity of it. As most of you know, I posted an earlier article in regards to the state of Oregon. Right now, that state right there has approximately, what is it? I think they have 1.5 billion. So you got about 4 million people in the state of Oregon, and they're doing 90,000 evictions, and the numbers are rolling up to about 240,000. That's one state. And that's not this Monday, but the next Monday, where that many people will be filed against. And the numbers are continuing to grow. I should let you know the 90,000 number was actually 6 months ago. I can't get any more accurate numbers right now because nobody really knows the gravity, but we do know for a fact that it's probably closer to 240,000 evictions. There are not that many vouchers in the country, and that is one state. Let's take a look here. What I have here is a national list here, and I'm going to read off some of the numbers, and they're going to probably shock you. So for the state of Alabama, you're looking at a roughly 341,000 evictions. Arizona, 170,000 to 250,000. Arkansas, 100 to 140,000. California, 2.2 million. Colorado, 150,000 is the estimated number. Connecticut, 100 to 160,000. Denver, 20 to 30,000. District of Columbia, up to 40,000. Florida, A million to 1.5 million evictions there. Georgia, 340 to 500,000 evictions in that state. Hawaii is registering at 50 to 70,000 evictions. Idaho, 40 to 30,000. Illinois is kicking in at around 600 to 800,000 evictions. Iowa, 80 to 120,000. Kansas, 60 to 80,000 evictions. Kentucky, 130 to 200,000. Louisiana, pushing it at 230,000 to possibly 500,000. Maine at 20,000 to 40,000 evictions. Maryland, 160 to 240,000. Massachusetts, 160,000 to 290,000. Michigan, 270,000 to 400,000. Minnesota, 70,000 to 120,000. Mississippi, 100,000 to 150,000 people evicted. Up for eviction, okay? So we're still rolling. And Montana, 10,000 to 30,000 evictions. Nebraska, 60,000 to 80,000 evictions. Nevada, 140 to 180,000. New Hampshire is going to be facing 30 to 40,000 evictions. New Jersey will receive somewhere around 480 to 680,000. New Mexico, 60 to 80,000. New York City, almost 3 million will lose their home, potentially, okay? And we'll discuss the ramification of these numbers in a minute, okay? North Carolina, 300,000 to 400,000. North Dakota, 20,000 to 30,000. Ohio, 130,000 to 180,000. Oklahoma, 130,000 to 180,000. Oregon, 100,000 to 150,000. Pennsylvania, 260,000 to 400,000. Rhode Island, 30,000 to 60,000. South Carolina, 150,000 to 220,000. South Dakota, 20,000 to 30,000. Tennessee, 220,000 to 300,000. The state of Texas, almost 2 million. Utah, 40,000 to 60,000. Vermont, 10,000 to 20,000. Virginia, 220,000 to 320,000. Washington, D.C., state of Washington would be 190,000 to 300,000 evictions. West Virginia, 40,000 to 70,000 evictions. Wisconsin, 170,000 to 240,000. The state of Wyoming, 20,000 to 30,000. A U.S. total of 9.7 million, 907 million evictions. And that was as of January. That was 6 months ago. So you could take those numbers. Now that's reported. Those are people, that's the landlords that have already filed. They're in line. Now, this is not including the ones that are going to actually begin Monday, not this Monday, but next. So you see my point. I gave y'all an estimate between 20 and 40 million. This does not also include 2.2 million mortgages and home loans that will default. And so these are just a matter of record and also 6 months old. Down to you see the severity of this. There's not 10 million vouchers. There's not 10 million homes to give out. There's not 10 million places to go. So it's rather severe. Now, whether or not you believe these numbers are up to you, okay? They're issued by the White House and Department of Justice and other agencies, okay? So I don't need to invent these. I don't need to invent sensationalism. You'll see this play out, and it will start playing out as of on Monday. Now, I do understand that the numbers are not always accurate. It is what it is. We won't know the true cost of this, just like a pandemic, until it really starts to begin to happen. But these are the numbers they're already issuing to DC and the president and the White House and so on. And that was about 6 months ago. I can't really get anything newer, to be honest with you. Now, as we do know, about 10 states do have things in place. Many other states are working around the clock. I mean, around the clock, all the way to midnight every day, trying to pass literal bills to block landlords from evicting right now because there's no way. There's absolute no way to house all these people. So I'm going to take on a few questions, guys. And I'm sure there's a few of you are going to troll me about these numbers. But again, this is not my list. This is what comes from the United States government. This is not from CNN. This is not from Fox News. Then we're going to talk about the states and specific states that may be safe right now and the ones that may be working on it. Now, any of you aware of states that are already passing bills 24 hours a day trying to block some of this to protect people, please chime in and let us know. So I'm going to open up the chat window and we'll get going with this. Let's see here. Well, if I can get it to pop out. All right, so I've got the chat window popped out. All right, so we got a few commenters here. It looks like we've got JW. Please, again, Karina went vegan. I'm here. I appreciate you. Jasmine, good to see you in chat. Yep, Pops is definitely here. Felicia Cooley, I can't hear you. Karina went vegan. Yes. I live in MD. They say Section 8 assistance has been closed for a while. That is true. Dana Schrader, what kind of housing do I apply for in the middle of treatment and surgery? Don't have a lot of information for you yet, Dana. You might want to contact me about that. Sullivan Bryant, hello, are you back? Yes, I am. Would you like to book an appointment? Whoa, New York and New Jersey. Yeah, it's pretty serious numbers out there. I miss Maryland and Atlanta. What about the Bridgeport? And then Rena Hall says we are leaving before we get evicted. And then MD 120 to 140,000. And then I have an appointment with you next month. That's true. Okay, guys. So it looks like we have some general comments. So I'm going to get back to these numbers. So we should expect this Monday will come, so in a few days, and then the next Monday will roll around, and that's when everything will begin. And I'm already starting to see a lot of issues. Knocked out my website now for a few hours each day. So there's a pretty intense number of people trying to contact me. I get that. So what I want to take a look at is I want to talk about the states next. So it's another list, okay, guys? So this is going to be those of you that do not have protection and those of you that are looking into it. So let's cover these states real quick. We'll be going through 50. State of Alabama will be no protection. State of Alaska, no protection. Arizona has no protection. Arkansas has no protection. California, yes, they have it through 9/30. So California has found a way to draw it out. Colorado has no protection. Connecticut has no protection. Delaware does have protection by order of governor, but we don't know the full details. The District of Columbia, yes, until further emergency, so that is up in the air, but so there's some protection there. Florida has no protection whatsoever. And then we move on to Georgia. Georgia has no eviction protection after this coming Monday. Hawaii, yes, through 8/6/21. Does have some protections in place. Idaho has none. Illinois, yes, through 8/1/21, does have protections, and after that, no. Indiana has no protections. Iowa has no protections against eviction. Kansas has no protection. Kentucky has no protections. Louisiana and Maine have no protection. Maryland, yes, through 8/15/2021, and then after that, no. State of Massachusetts has no protections. Michigan has none. Minnesota has depends on particular notes they have on it. Mississippi has no protections. Missouri and Montana, same thing, no protections. Nebraska has no protection. Nevada, same thing. New Hampshire has none. New Jersey, yes, will end, and it has special rules, but they just added 2 months. So if you're in New Jersey, you will not feel the brunt of that for another 60 days. New Mexico has some limited protections by court order. New York has protection. Well, nope, it does not. It ends. North Carolina has no protections. North Dakota, none. Ohio, none. Oklahoma, no protection. Oregon, none. Pennsylvania, none. Rhode Island, none. South Carolina, none. South Dakota, none. Tennessee, none. Texas, no. Utah, no. Vermont, yes. But, it ended. Sorry, correction. Virginia, no. Washington, they have special notes on this, so you'll need to, if you live in Washington State, you'll need to get with the local government to see about that. West Virginia has no protections. Wisconsin has none. And then the last state is Wyoming has none. So the impact is 40 states will file evictions, all of them, starting not this Monday, but the following in about 7 days. It's a sad situation, guys. We've been talking, let me tell you something, guys. Since December of 2020, we talked about this. I definitely warned a lot of you that this was going to, I didn't see the gravity of it, okay, because y'all read the earlier numbers in the video. These weren't small numbers. Okay, I warned you all about a week ago about 90,000 in Tampa. 100 to 200,000 up to several million for each state evictions. There are no places to put these people. It is a very dire situation, and that's why a lot of the legislators in each state right now are going and trying to meet to figure out what to do. There's nowhere to put 10 million people. Now, I want to say again, this is an early report from January. And so we do know for a fact that 10 million will get evicted. So that there's no question to that. How much has it grown? Another half year on top of that year. So we should estimate somewhere probably around the 15 to 20 million. And then we won't know the true fallout, but we know mortgages 2 to 4 million. That's in addition to that. So, between the 20, 30, and it could rise as high as 40, but I don't want to be sensational about that. So we'll wait for big news to publish that. But now do you see the gravity of the situation? You guys are sitting around and you're trying to think about, well, can I get a voucher? What am I going to, maybe I should do something next Tuesday and figure out where I'm going to live. It's too late. Okay. It's not so much too late, but if you don't do something now, God knows what will happen to you. So I'm going to take a look at a few comments here and see what we have going on. Karina went vegan again. I keep forgetting that's the name of the person. I have an appointment with you next month. Brianna Hicks says, thank you for all your working on your case. You're much appreciated. Diane Joseph, DJ from Chicago Burbs. Diane, good to see you in here. Let's see. 1958, how can I make an appointment with you to apply? Okay, guys. So in order to make an appointment with me, and I should warn you, I'm pretty booked solid, but there are openings occasionally. So I'm going to put something up here for y'all. Just give me a minute. And then I will give you all some information real quick. See, I had everything nice and prepared for everybody before the first video failed. And so right now I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants. So if anybody needs consulting, okay, first of all, I'm not here to sell anybody anything. Nobody has to hire me to do anything. I made 200 videos for this purpose and have made them, and they've been on here a long time, and those videos can help you. So I'm not asking or pushing anybody to consult with me. If you believe you would benefit from that and you don't want to watch all the videos and hang around and read on Google, then you're welcome to hire me as a consultant to help you with your housing needs for your state or city, okay? And that's what that link there does. But like I said, I'm not here to sell anything. Okay, moving on from that. So now we know the true numbers. Well, we know, I guess, kind of like the weatherman, we have a good idea of what we're looking at. However, we don't know how it's going to play out. It's my hope the president's going to have to step back in. We can't do 10, 20 million people, okay? That's impossible. The numbers are staggering. I mean, let's take a look as an example, LA. They opened the waiting list and they closed it instantly. They closed it conveniently right before this is going to hit. What do you do in a city with 3.3 million evictions? Where exactly, if every homeless shelter in the city of Los Angeles could fit 6,000 people, where do the other 3.69 million people go? So, and I want to say this, that 3 million is not just for LA. I should clarify that, state of California, okay? That would be pretty extreme. So I'm going to take a few more of these comments. JW, this is insane. People lost tons of wages and are going to be foreclosed or evicted. That's a next tidal wave. Now, you know that landlords are already got 10 million evictions stacked and waiting as of in 7 days. So they're waiting. That's not including the other half the landlords that have not filed yet that are going to. In addition to that, you know how banks are. Anybody on a mortgage, you should expect to be immediately served by a process server. And so there will be millions of those going out in every state and city to get you out of these homes that you've not paid a mortgage on. And so we don't know the true fallout from that, from Fannie Mae, Fannie Mac, but the numbers seem to look, from what I've been reading, about 2.2 million people. So there will be the world's largest auction of houses that you've ever seen. And this also speaks into why the housing market's so hot right now, because look at all these houses that people are going to have all their property in the front lawn. It's a sad state of affairs. With that being said, Shauna Scorpio, astrologer, it's Shauna. I had 2 consults with you and a heart. Yes, you did. Good to see you. Marina Hall, I figured that we could avoid eviction if we just leave. Yes, anytime you can just leave, you might want to do that. However, if you're elderly or disabled and you have no other choice, I would have tried to figure out a different situation. Evictions are not particularly good on your record, and like I said, this is the largest migration. This actually breaks a world record, not just a U.S. record. This is the biggest migration of evictions known to humankind. There's never been anything like it. And when you reach a population, 10, 20 million people, they were not joking. They were not using these numbers loosely. And I've been telling you that all along. And now we're facing this down, and a lot of states are not doing anything. And so under normal circumstances, when there's a crisis, or say you have a fire in California or a hurricane in Florida, you have shelters and you have stadiums to help house people. When it's the whole nation and you have millions of people at stake, over 10 million, there isn't anything there's nothing to fix that situation. And I have tried to appeal to you guys for 6 months to either go after housing anywhere in this country you can find it now. Hire any consultant that you want, including me or anybody else that can help you get there quicker, because the flood of people is going to be extreme, and this may the waiting list may go to a very extreme levels where we thought that 8, 10, and 15 years was a long time. After this pandemic, we may be facing 30-year waiting list. So I don't know. It's something that's in the back of my mind, and looking at this situation and how serious will it really get. So Student of Life, I believe it's Sean of this channel is so informative and helpful. I appreciate that. I appreciate any credit that I get. I certainly appreciate you guys showing up to hear what I have to say. It says booking page does not exist. Look, guys, sometimes when you guys click a link, sometimes you'll have technical problems with your computers. That page has worked for everybody else. It works for me currently. So sometimes you just have to try it on a different browser if a link doesn't work. So I'll just put the link in again, but I'm pretty sure that link works. If anybody, y'all can check and just see real quick. That is if you're going to book me for assistance, you can just check that link there. But I'm pretty sure, I'll check it on my browser real quick, but I don't think it's down. The company that does this software for me is pretty good, and they don't fail. So I'm going to put it in my browser, and bam, I have no problems. So I'm not seeing any problems there. So it may just be a bandwidth issue or other stuff like that. So I'll give you all a more direct link because that's to the website. So I'll give it to you directly to the booking software. And like I said, I'm not here to sell anything. I'm just trying to correct a broken link. So that right there is a direct link for those who want to book. Anyways, let's move on because I'm not here to book consults. So now I want to tell you another thing. One of the bigger problems we're facing right now is, did we not issue $50 billion? So we had what was it, 50 billion, and then we added another 50 billion. So Mr. Trump, President Donald Trump, and President Biden put out all that money. You know how much money they dispersed since this pandemic has happened? They dispersed only 6.5%. Now they're no longer, so okay, 6.5%. This is what happens when you have politicians in charge of cash. They go and they don't disperse the money. So only 6.5% of all the trillions of dollars that have been put on the market to assist people with rent to avoid this situation has been put out. So now would be a good year to fire all politicians. I don't give a damn if they're Republican or Democrat. It's time to fire everybody. This is a prime example of convolution. Everybody's getting put out. Nobody's got payment for anything. We've got too many rules to get the rent. 6.5%. They've sat on that money for 9 months. It's trickling out. Now the eviction memorandum, now people get put out in 6 days. The money hasn't moved any quicker. It'll sit there. So I guess they're going to issue payments to the homeless shelter. This is an absolute joke. It's a disgrace. We're not in China. We're not in Russia. But we can only manage politically to fight and convolute a system so badly that, we managed to give out everybody $1. Mail them a check for a fucking dollar. It's disgusting. I'm upset, So moving on. Dan, Looks like Dana says, I wish I had found you sooner. I appreciate your help. Three pre-pa. Do you work with clients in Mass and Connecticut? I work with clients in all 50 states, including Hawaii and Puerto Rico. So, and I have clients in all states. You know, I would say the larger portion of my clients are from New York, New Jersey, and also from the California area. I have a pretty good portion out in Florida. But yes, I have clients in every state. There's not one state I haven't covered, including Puerto Rico. So yes. While I'm doing that, and we're going to move on again, I just want to make sure that last time I did this, y'all guys booked so many consults in one day that I had to actually change it around. So I'm just going to check to make sure y'all haven't created a 12-hour day for me, because I'm not a big fan of that. Okay, so everything still looks good on the software. So moving on from that, we need to talk about how to get housing. You know, that's what everybody's here. So I think I lost all that in the middle of sitting here and bickering about what's going on. Look, guys, we only have two options right now. So the first is we're going to have to reach out to the housing authority, any housing authority that will accept you in the state. If you don't have a list of every housing authority in America, I'm going to provide that right now, because you'll need to contact them. You'll need to immediately need to contact them, because right now, really, you're very late to the game. So I'm going to give you a link to the United States government, and you can look up any housing authority in America. And so give me 1 second. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to give this to you right now. Now, as you see that link, when you click on that, it'll take you to Department of HUD and Urban Development and Indian Affairs. With that being said, they have an allocation of emergency housing vouchers, better known as EHV. And these EHV, 70,000 were issued for the 20 million people that needed them, but only 70,000 were actually issued. If your housing authority has them, I would tell you to right now to go down there, call anything you can in order to apply to get an EHV or emergency housing voucher. For those of you that are no longer living in your home and have already left, already on the street, in a homeless shelter, in a halfway house, a crack house, whatever it is, you need housing. I would suggest to you that you make an immediate move to contact the Continuum of Care, better known as COC. I'm going to provide a nationwide list of these. They can assist you with vouchers. They're not as good as HCV or housing authority vouchers, but right now it's a hell of a lot better than being under the sidewalk or under a bridge. All right. So if y'all bear with me, I'm going to give you that. And again, guys, I was well prepared for this video. The first one that I made and that it failed. So right now, like I said, I'm flying by the seat of my pants, because you know how it is when you have to redo something, you kind of get lost. All right, so I'm going to put this in. This is going to be for Continuum of Cares all around the country. You can call the directors of services, and they can bring you in for an assessment. And you can you can book. Well, not book. You can give them a call, and they can give you an assessment, and then determine whether or not you're eligible for housing. Okay. So that's a critical link, both. So that gives you every housing authority in America to give you a housing choice voucher. And then the other link below that I just issued is going to be to every Continuum of Care in the nation. And, it's a little bit of work, make no mistake. I do it every day. I hear a lot of people, well, I don't want to make all these calls. Well, God, you would hate my job. I do this all the time. Since December last year, I work 6 days a week, some weeks 7 days. I get up at 5, I go to bed at 10. Look, a lot of long, miserable days. And it's not getting any easier, because now with the next 7 days rolling out, I'll be doing this all the way through the year. I'm tired, I'm exhausted a lot of time, but I'm still here trying to help however I can with you guys. So, all right, let's take a few comments here. T-Bone Steak, politicians are terrible. Yes, you're correct. Pamela Foster, I did not plan to be the last minute. I don't think anybody did. And so just so you guys understand, I'm not trying to blame anybody for being first in line or last in line. Look, most people never saw this coming. I did try to warn people, but hell, I didn't even know it was going to be this bad. Once I actually got the numbers here, where I just read all 10 million evictions, I mean, I was literally reading all 10 million evictions or better in this form in the beginning of the video for all 50 states. I didn't, it doesn't hit you till you hear it. And though those are not completely accurate numbers, I think that it speaks loudly enough where we are with things. Arena Hall, only if only my mom would have cooperated with us, we wouldn't be going through this. I'm sorry to hear that, Rena. Pamela Foster, okay, so she already spoke. Lady Leo in cars. Okay, so it looks like most of the comments have pressed through. It looks like we got 49 people watching to see what to do. Look, guys, right now, really the only chance you have is to contact the continuum of care and get an assessment. I don't really see any other options available. Roughly, I'd say over 80% of the housing authorities in America right now are closed. They know what's going to happen, and I can tell you those phones will be unplugged, the doors will be locked. They're not. Man, look, most of you have been following me for a year or longer. I already know that most of these housing authorities, the telephone lines will melt. I mean, it's too many people. And even if they could answer the phone, what could they possibly say? They would have to hire half the city to answer phones just to keep up with the number of people that need vouchers. So in this current environment, the only advantage you have is going to be like somebody like me or another consultant. There's really nothing, nobody else out there I could see that could do anything more for you. And right now, it's been pretty hard because I'm having to look at every single county and states to find housing authorities and vouchers for clients. I'm having to go through a lot of stuff to figure out whether or not we can port people, whether we can get them into quick vouchers, HCB vouchers, Section 811, Section 202, Section 504. I mean, I'm having to pull every trick in the book that I've ever known for 20 years. I mean, we're down to the point where, we're almost considering that thin line of being unethical in the way that we try to get a voucher because it's so serious right now. So beyond that, guys, besides EHVs, which is your emergency housing voucher, and also your COC vouchers, which are rapid rehousing or permanent supportive housing, there really are no other options. Now they have Shelter Plus for those of you who don't mind staying in shelter. The problem is the shelters are already at half capacity. There's not enough of them, and most of them are closed. And so there's not a lot of alternatives. I figure a lot of people will just be sleeping in their car. And then we'll see what happens at state government level and at the federal level. But as it stands right now, we don't have an immediate solution to the crisis. Even if they gave everybody rent checks, it's too late. The government sat on this money, city government sat on the money so long that if they were give everybody rent money now, it's too late. They've already been evicted. There's no point. The other 92.8% of the money that the city government should be giving you guys for rent, it's just too late for that now. What are you going to do with it? There's no landlord left to pay. Nobody even wants the check anymore. That's the crazy part. So even if they gave you the money, it's not going to matter. I mean, and this just shows you this became so political. Look at New York. Those guys just about less than 60 days ago just got their first rent payments. Sadly, they're already evicted. So what's the point? You can't even cash the check. And they made so many rules for the New Yorkers to use the checks. I think out of a city of 9 million, maybe 3,000 people actually got their rent paid. It's a disgusting joke. It came down to bickering Republicans and Democrats. At this point, I'm ready for a whole new government. Everybody to go. To be frank with you, maybe we should consider a dictatorship or something because the idiots we have up there are just not getting it done. Don't get me wrong. There's always good Republicans and there's good Democrats. But for the most part, on both sides of the party, most of them are just worthless, and what they do. And this is a prime example. Nothing's happening. So I'm not trying to make the video political, but who's in charge of all this money? It's not the pastor at the church, okay? It's not the woman down the street that does meter. She checks the meters. It's not her. It's not the guy that keeps the utility lines going. It's the politicians. This is how we get there. And so all that money that never got spent on rent, that goes back to the government. So I guess they can go out there and build a second White House with the money they never spent. So it's, like I said, it's a disgusting display of nothing happening. Now, a lot of guys have been contacting me about the home ownership and voucher program. Look, guys, stop with that. Just stop. If you already figured it out, do it. If not, contact a real estate agent or a broker. But if you think you're going to use your voucher right now to buy a home in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a $20 million eviction blow up with heated markets, you're out your tree. You're taking on huge leverage, and who knows where that's going to go. If you think you can get it done, you live in a small town, do it, okay? But man, I got to tell you, I think the primary focus for most of you guys is if you haven't made friends, you're gonna have to find a hotel or a roommate situation somewhere, because I'm concerned there's not enough housing anymore. So we already looked at the numbers. Like I said, around the country, we already know we're around the 20 million mark with evictions starting as of the next following Monday. We already know that 40 states have zero protections, and then we will be live. Not this Monday, but the following, because I'm expecting this to play out on a national stadium, basically. Every news agency is going to be lit up, because what's going to happen is, well, we already know what's going to happen. We're going to have a bunch of people that are going to be on the sidewalk. You cannot accommodate 200,000 people evicted. Where do you accommodate that? Even small cities. The small cities, 30,000 evictions. So 9.7 million already filed, another 9 to 10 million being filed as of or starting next week, late next week or on Monday, 20 million. And there's no word. Even if we opened up every stadium in the country, where would these people go? How would you feed all these people? Could the food stamp office even keep up with the request? What's going to happen with all the property out there? And then we talk about mortgages, about 3 million people that have not paid one note on their mortgage for a year, and those protections now are going to evaporate. And that's a small number. The more likely number would be around 4 or 5 million foreclosures on top of the renters. So I don't know, man. Does anybody here else want to weigh in on that subject and let me know what you really think about this? So we're going to go over the comments and just see. All right. So Gale Resources, the officials should be arrested. Well, to be frank with you guys, if I think that something could potentially happen very badly to city government, even at the Capitol again. Because at this point, this is how you end up where unrest happens, and a lot of it. And if I could think of any situation that would actually incite people, okay, it would be this. And if we have that many people that have their luggage on the Capitol stairs of every city in America, tens of thousands of people that are homeless, you can imagine the chaos that could ensue. So I don't know. I'm not suggesting that'll happen, but I think that what you saw during the Trump administration at the very end, down at that White House, Capitol Hill or whatever, that was a sampling of what would likely could play out here in the weeks or months to come, because you're going to have angry people in every city in America. And we're talking not small numbers. Now we're talking huge, monstrous numbers. They outnumbered the police 20, 50 to 1. There won't be no controlling this. If somebody decides that they're going to, do something and then everybody else falls along. I don't want anybody to do anything like that, but I think you understand what could happen when you have 20 million people, 10 million people around the country with no place to go. And they can protest. It could become very serious in this country, and it could play out to be something very devastating over several months. Again, I'm not advocating for any of that. I'm just saying that it's a possibility that we could see some of that. Moving on, 3 pre-pa. Thank you, Shonda. DT investors will beat you out. I'm not quite sure how that's in relation to anything. If investors want to buy people's homes, that they're certainly entitled to do that. Pamela Foster, and yes, I have an 811 voucher attached to my housing choice voucher and portability. Good. So you're well prepared, Pamela. Rita Hall, this will be 2008 to 2009. There should be some ramifications for the housing market. We will see the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. That's a certain outcome of this, because now we're going to have everybody's homes go up on the market for half the price and get auctioned up to people who have lots of money. And so that won't go very well. And that's going to cause inflation in the market. And I'm not an expert in that area. I'm sure there's other personalities on YouTube that can tell you what the impact would be when 3 million homes get foreclosed on. But I would imagine it's going to be one direction or another and follow closely what happened in 2008 or 9, except this is not a default of loan. This is actually everybody defaulting at the same time, because instead of it being over a period, we have federal rules been blocking it. So literally all in one day, it's like a firecracker that goes off unless they do something all in one day. And I don't think any bank's going to wait. Banks don't wait. They don't care. Their interest is in investment and making money. So I would imagine every bank in America will file to foreclose on every single client they have. They'll probably have 40, 50 lawyers waiting outside each courthouse. And that's per bank. So there'll probably be thousands of attorneys waiting to file at hundreds of thousands of banks around America as soon as they can. Why not? They want their property back. So what can you do about that? Dana says this is what the fence around Congress is about. They're going to need more than a fence this time. They're going to need a fence around every government building in the country. I just can't. It's only going to take one movement around this country with this many angry, pissed off, and homeless people to make this just blow up. So I would be shocked if I would be shocked if everybody just takes this peacefully. But like I said, it's an idea. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. But Scorpio astrologer Jay, you got to say something that's going to cheer us up. So much doom and gloom. I should have been a politician, right? Just come on here, talk a little bit of trash, talk about doom and gloom. So what's the good news? Well, let me tell you what the good news is, folks. I'm still the same hustler I've always been. I still get people housing. That's the good news. I still know how to do my job. My clients still know how to get housing. Yeah, it's tough and it will be hard, but I'm still helping my clients with whatever they need. So I'm not near as successful as I was in 2020. I have to admit that the numbers have definitely gone down, but we're still doing good. But the thing about it is, it's a whole lot of work. I'm spending more time with clients, more research. So that is good news. The other thing is, let me tell you something. The best news that I think most of you should realize is if you're already low income, you already know you're already prepared. Most low income people know how to survive this. And I want to give you kind of a comparison, but I don't want you to take it the wrong way. You know why when a nuclear bomb goes off and you can't kill a cockroach? It's just, now I know it's a bad example and a comparison, but low income people will survive anything, including a nuclear bomb. So when you look at the situation, I'm not really worried about most of my low income individuals. They know how to hustle and get by. Most of you on here, I'm not worried about too much. It's those, the big eviction wave. It's the middle class people that are losing their homes. And this is the first time they've ever had to live when they've got demoted from middle class to basically no class. And they don't know what to do. They're walking around the house and they're looking at the computer. Well, what's Section 8? How does that work? Those are the people I'm worried about. They've never had a day's displeasure in their life, but now they're faced with the concept of sleeping under a bridge. So I think the good news is I think a lot of you will weather the storm. It won't be easy. Most of you that have families still around, I think you should get with them. This is when this is the perfect time to group up with family and friends, because this is when you have hard times like World War II. Those of you that were around or had grandparents alive or parents during World War II, this is when you pull together as a family, because it's going to take everybody's resources to survive this. If you don't know what you're doing, get with somebody that does. One of the things I have said exclusively for a long time on this channel is, if you don't know how to pull out every trick out the book with this, you better damn well hire somebody that knows how to do it, because you don't have time to experiment with this. It's not as simple as it used to be. Housing authorities have got a lot of rules, a lot of policies, and different things, and if you don't meet their criteria, you simply won't get the housing. So I can't tell you guys what to do, but I tell you what, having almost a 3-week waiting list, people aren't willing to take chances anymore. If you're going to spend money, don't go down and buy a case of beer, okay? Don't go down there and buy lotto tickets. Figure out a way to use that money to help you get housing, okay? It's very serious. Also, the other issue we have is, besides, up to 20 million evictions or more, and besides the fact of the millions of foreclosures are going to be happening in about 7 or 8 days, all the unemployment checks disappear at the same time. So even if you manage to pay your rent, you no longer have any income for most Americans. So we have an additional 30 million people that will lose every nickel that they had that helped them survive all this. And then they're also going to be shutting off the food stamp and SNAP benefits. And the interesting thing about the food stamp and SNAP benefits, it's not the low income sucking up the system on that deal. It's actually middle class people that have never used it before. They account for the largest portion of people right now using it, and that waterfall's getting cut off. So no more stimulus checks, no more unemployment payments, no more assistance with rent, no more eviction protections. There's no more nothing. And I did warn many of you. I've warned y'all since last December. Act now and do something about this. So the good news is there's still options. However, I might have to move some of you out there to a cornfield if that's what it takes. I'm not joking about that either. A lot of my people in California, I'm having to send in Nevada and other states, people in New York and New Jersey, I'm having to mail over to other states as well because there's just nothing left to get. Social services and other county agencies that used to be able to somewhat help with housing and casework are so overloaded they no longer answer phones anymore. And the housing authority has been falling like dominoes. Sure, they put on a good game face. They publish little articles. Oh, we've got a few vouchers. But the reality is, if you ever try to call me, you won't get to anybody. I've had a very, very difficult time actually contacting any housing authority at this point. You can't get them to answer phones anymore. They don't have enough people to man the phones. All right, so let's take a look at comments. I'm a senior. I'm on disability. I live in a complex that accepts Section 8, but I pay market rent. Would it be hard for me to get Section 8? Well, I think right now it would be. I think, well, it depends, we gotta see what's gonna happen in a week to say that. I don't know where you live. I don't know your case details. So, in a normal circumstances, I'm pretty confident in my ability to do what I need to do to assist people to get vouchers, but I couldn't tell you without knowing more case details. So I don't want to give anybody a fantasy of what could or could not happen with this. DT, nobody answers the phone. Yeah, you're right. And let me tell you something, when the following Monday rolls down and the evictions start rolling and process servers go to start taking homes, there probably no housing authority will be open at that point. They'll all close. There's no point. What's the point even answering the phone anymore? There's no point for it. They're not going to have enough people. And there'll be so many calls on their phones that nobody would ever get through for months. So I really don't see them ever answering the phone, probably to 2022. Right now, we're having to send certified letters, tracking, signature forms just to get the housing authorities to answer. If you have the luxury of living in a rich county and a small state, there might be a way to get a hold of the housing authorities, but most of them are not answering at all. And they're trying to push you guys to call 211, and that's a joke. I've always said that. They're a joke, and so are the people they hire. If you work for 211 and you're good at your job, I'm happy to give you a golden star. But for most of these people, 211 is an absolute joke. It's pitiful. They're not helping anybody. So anyways, Student of Life says, it's so bad that the automated system just hangs up. Yes, that is correct. A lot of these systems are going down, just like my website keeps going down because it keeps getting hammered. 2 weeks ago, my website went down 6 times. I got contacted by the administrator, thought I was being hacked or DDoSed. I said, no, that's desperate people trying to book appointments. And they literally took it down. And I have the best hosting you can get. And y'all actually crashed my website 6 different times. Y'all done it again about 4 times in the past week. Keep knocking it down. And that's why sometimes these links are breaking. They're doing what they can, but the influx is too much. Problem is, there's not enough of me out there. And even if there were multiples of me, 100 of me out there on Google, on Yahoo, or on YouTube, nobody else does consulting. I'm more or less alone in what I do. It takes a lot to do the job that I do because you have to know a lot. And it's not something you're going to learn in a book. Even if you went and studied 4 years with me, you wouldn't know shit, okay? So it's a lot. There's a lot to read. Diane Joseph, thank you for your info. You rock. Hey, man, look, anytime I can rock, let's rock together. Barbara Zacone, I didn't get any help from 211. Now, Barbara, must we have the discussion about that 211? Look, I didn't tell you about that 211. You know, when you see your neighbors and they have party clown, you see the pink bus pull up with the guy with the hair, this rainbow colored, that's a party clown. Okay. And so when you drive the homeless bus down to the bridge and you pick up people that are on meth and everything else, you bring them to 211 and you give them a telephone. That's what they do. I've never met anybody that had any intelligence that ever answered fucking 211. Same thing with 311. I think that they actually bring a batch of cell phones down to the homeless shelter. They hand them out and say, look, for a nickel an hour, we'd like for y'all to please help people on the 211 line. It's a tragic joke. If you work for 211 or 311, please contact me privately. I would love to have a discussion with you. But I think most people say, I think we've all experienced 211 and 311. It's a laughable joke. And if you could imagine, it would be people that are extraordinarily old. You would see a 1972 computer, okay? You'd put in a floppy disk about the size of your monitor, slide it in, and then you would hear them slowly click. Okay, that's them getting information. Now they're pulling that from the telephone book. You know, the old ones use as a booster seat for your grandchildren. So they're slowly flipping through that, looking at old information. Problem is the phone book's from 1962, and they're just giving you bullshit. Anything that gets you off the line, they'll send you down to Big Bob's Carpet Outlet, give you their own fucking number, and tell you it's the homeless shelter. That's how stupid those people are. If you don't disagree with that, please tell me you had a good experience with 211, and we'll all go leave reviews and stars for them. But as far as I can tell, they're all idiots. So, another thing I'll tell you about, I had somebody respond today. They left an email, and they said, you know, that I needed to be politically correct. So let me satisfy that distinction now as we're on this video. If you require political pampers, and that's what it is, political pampers, then this is not the channel for you, okay? If I tell you that that you have mental illness, then that is what it is. I'm not going to beat around the bush. That is what it is. I'm not going to say that it's a mental health crisis and other things. I'm not here to do that. Same thing if I say politically correctness with, oh, he's Latino or he's Mexican. He is white. He is Caucasian, okay? Look, I don't have time for that. I'm out here to try to give people real advice. If you're offended by the terminology that I use, find somebody else, find another channel to watch, okay? Because I don't do political pampers. I don't have time for that, okay? Political pampers are for other people that do the 3 minutes tips and tricks. I've told you about that. You got Bob doing fidget spinner videos on Monday, and then on Tuesday he's a political analyst. That's the kind of channel that does political pampers. I don't do that, all right? I'm just going to tell you straight up. I'm going to give you the advice and the things that I can prove, and then we'll stick with that. I would love to sit there and feel good, but I think most of you know that I'd rather just get you the information, all right? So, anyways, I don't think I've been offended anybody. I try to advocate for as many people as I can, and if you get your feelings hurt, I get that. That's part of mental illness. You know, you're easily offended, or you want me to follow the DMS and all that stuff. But I'm not playing that game. Okay, guys, we're talking about housing. I want to help y'all. So now that we're past political pampers, we can move on to serious issues. Now, one other thing: if you're receiving mental health care through the county or the state, I want y'all to consider speaking with your caseworker or your counselor immediately. Monday morning, I want y'all to go and ask them specifically about EHVs, emergency housing voucher. Also, I want y'all to ask them about special use vouchers. It's now or never. You have nothing to lose by begging for it. Just beg. If you've been talking to Marissa, that's your counselor there, you tell Miss Marissa, look, I've never asked for anything from you. Today, if you got a string you can pull, please pull it. I'm telling you, you better go do it. Let me give you another piece of advice. A lot of you guys have never been homeless before, and you're on the verge. Do not go to the hotel. That is the fastest way to burn through your money. You should look for bunk houses. You don't have to sleep in your car. You should go into Google and look up bunk houses. Yep, nobody likes to smell somebody foot and booty and farts and all that, but for $25 or $30 a day, it's a lot cheaper than a $100 hotel that'll burn through everything you've got. If you don't want to do a bunk house, then try not halfway houses, but you can do what do they call it? Oh goodness, I had the name in my head. You could rent a room, so they have rooming houses. So you put in your city name and rooming houses. Now that would cost you about 100 to 150 a week. Okay, again, avoid hotel. So you can put yourself. You have a shared. You got a bunch of other weirdos in the house, but the thing is, you have a room with a lock on the doorknob. You may have to share the bathroom, so you're going to have to keep everything clean as you go out there and all that. But it will prevent you from losing most of your stuff. Well, at least it'll keep you house until you can figure out what to do. You guys are hanging out in these crack motels for $37 a night. That's the fastest way to get yourself robbed and other things. And hotels are just not the best situation. You're going to burn through all your cash. A lot of you guys are sleeping in cars. There's no way. How are you going to recover when you can't even take a shower? If you're up north or on the west coast, you're going to melt in the car. If you're up on the east coast, then you're going to freeze to death. So I don't know if that's a great option for you guys. Rita Hole says she's glad to join the channel. Well, I'm glad to have you too. I'm glad to have anybody here tonight. Miss Astrologer just sent $20. So I can tell you, guys, I want to tell you that Chandra, Scorpio Astrologer just gave $20. And to those of you who don't know, I rescue cats. I have a bunch of them. And so that will go towards the care and benefit of my kitties. And y'all have seen them, in fact, a number of pictures on my channels. And so that'll be used for that purpose. And vet bills. I got $1,800 worth. So. So thank you so much for y'all's support. And by the way, if y'all want to become a member of the channel, you're welcome to do so. It's a few bucks. It's, whatever it is. And, I had a comment the other day in a comment section. Lady goes, well, I think that it's unethical for you to charge. Well, honey, what would you like me to do? Would you like me to record the video under the bridge and then not charge? I should work 80 hours a week and not charge, but you're going to McDonald's every day and you're making a check. But it's ethical for you to make cheeseburgers to pay your bills, but I should go live under the bridge and do consulting for free. You know what? And again, I'm going to go back to mental illness. Who the hell tells somebody that? But so, most of you don't know this, except for my regulars, but for many, many years, I did this for free for people. Okay. In addition to making over 200 videos, I think I've done a fantastic job of educating people at no cost. I mean, absolutely none. It's just a service, if you want to utilize that and you want to hire an expert, that's what I am. So for that purpose, do hire me, but I'm not forcing anybody to hire me. That's absurd. Nobody's going to want you. Do you want to go to your job and work for free? Nobody wants to do that. All right, let's take on some questions tonight, guys. I know everybody's got big questions about Section 8 and all that. So, Cynthia Rose Johnson, I have an apartment with 8-1. Would be able to go to Belmont, North Carolina. I am registered with FLCOC. Good. I have an old friend there who loves it. Rentals cost less too. Had to open the list last week. Sick of Florida. Look, guys, Florida is having some very tough times. Most of y'all have made jokes about California. Florida is currently going through it. Another 2 years, and Florida will be another California. You know why? Y'all think it's political. It's not. Too many freaking people. And then Florida is stacked with seniors, a lot which may not be alive in 10 years. That means the tax base is gone. And so it creates an overwhelming population of people and not enough tax revenue there. And so what you see played out in California right now is most certainly going to play out next in Florida. I'm warning you guys, we'll have the same discussion in 2023 and 2024. And I'm going to tell you, I told you so. Same thing with the housing crisis in Florida. It's becoming extreme. Let's talk about extreme. City of Miami opened up. Hey, we've got 5,000 vouchers. 90,000 people applied. That's 1/4 of the population. How the hell does 1/4 of the entire city's population go to get a voucher? There are serious problems. And now that's just Miami. Let's look at the whole state of Florida. Very serious housing crisis. Now it's going to be stacked with evictions. So what I expect to see are people between the age of 40 and 99 living on the beach out there. Because where the hell else are all these people going to go after these evictions? All right, so we're going to take on another question. See me go. I live in Orange County. Good God. All right, that's a Yeah, I know where Orange County is. That's a tough place to be right now. I have been trying to apply for Section 8 for 5 years, but the waiting list is closed. Can you help? I can help you move out of state, my friend. Orange County and Los Angeles probably will be about 30 years for that reopens. And currently, the position and waiting list for Orange and LA County is 200,000. So if we took New York, every borough in New York, we added them all together, there would be approximately 31,000 people on the waiting list. Now you take that by times it by 20 times the city of New York. That is the Orange County and LA. You would, my advice is purchase a U-Haul, move out of town. That will never reopen again. No time in the near future. I know you guys have this thing about LA and Orange County, man. It is dire. It's so dire that the Supreme Court's already made a ruling. They're forcing HUD and the housing authority to house people, but there is no housing left. None. Now, by virtue of all these evictions, there may be some vouchers will get loosened up and bring into the system, and some housing will be vacated. Lots of homes are going to be lost through this. And so by virtue of that, there will be some, but if you're not well connected to the people at the housing authority and the city government where political favors are traded, and you're just a standard below Joe in the street, you don't expect anything out of it. Look, guys, you're going to have to move several counties over. If you're in California, you're going to move up north or down south. If you think I'm actually joking about that, go take a look at the waiting list. Have you ever been on a 200,000 waiting list? It's insane. That's not including Skid Row, okay? So that's another 30,000, okay? So I'm just warning you guys about Orange County. Carmel went vegan. Good. That's my vegan. She's back. I should not try to relocate to San Diego. San Diego is not at an epic level yet, but it will be reaching there by Christmas, okay? So what I'm telling you about San Diego is everybody else has got their eyeball trained on San Diego among a few other cities right now. And so if you don't start reacting, that could be a lifetime event. Sullivan Brian, see me go, me too. Look at his comment to another person. And then DT says, Reno, are you giving out Section 8 vouchers, but you have to be a resident and a few other rules? Cool. Well, looks like y'all giving each other advice, so that's always appreciated. Dana Hackley, hi, Jay. Thank you for the wisdom. I don't know that what I'm giving is wisdom. I think that it's a perspective. I don't like to give out too many opinions because those are worthless. We got enough of that on YouTube. I try to actually base everything I give you guys, but we're always basing on somebody else's information and stuff. So I don't know what else I could possibly say on this video, to be honest with you. I know we're looking at the options right now, and for those of you, you really should pursue any housing you can get before the following Monday hits. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, don't chance it, okay? Because right now, if you lose everything and you end up in a shelter, this is going to be immensely harder for me to get you out of that situation. And I'd rather you not suffer through that. Because if you're not used to dealing with gang members, prostitutes, drug dealers, alcoholics, crackheads, and everything else in homeless shelter that stink on top of that. Now, I'm not suggesting every homeless person like that. There's plenty of people that are homeless that are high functioning. But if you're not accustomed to that, trust me, you're not going to like that. So we have to stop it before it starts. You guys that are wanting to stay in the county that you've lived in all your life, well, look, guys, I'll tell you tough shit because if they don't have it and you don't want to be homeless, we got to send you somewhere else. So I'm telling you, it's time to pack up your China hut, shove it in the trunk. Time to pack up Momo's good dishes, throw them in the car. You got to move, okay? If they don't have it where you are, you're going to have to move. Pack it up. Take all the good China, put it in the car. I have no other choice. I cannot produce a voucher when the housing authority is closed. No amount of fairy dust I can give can fix that. If they don't have it, you got nowhere to go when you're 68 years old. Look, you're not going to make it 10 minutes out there living in a hot car. You're not going to make it under the bridge with a bunch of crazy people. You've got to reconsider your position. This shit of having to live in the same county all your life thing is going to have to end. You're going to have to try new things at a later in life. It's desperate times. These are truly desperate times. So I'm not urging anybody to do anything desperate, anything risky. I'm just telling you from my 20 years of experience and from what I know, If we need to make changes and look at every single housing authority in the state, then that's what we need to do. You must absolutely do what you have to do to defend yourself to get into another house or keep the one you have. Guys, if you still have a good relationship with your landlord and you haven't paid rent in a while, then you need to file for ERAP. So let me tell you how that's spelled. ERAP. Put in your city name, ERAP, file an application. If you don't know how to file for federal funds for ERAP to help you with 12 months of back rent and 18 months of future rent, then you contact a consultant. Okay. If you don't know a consultant, I do it. Again, I put myself last on that list because I'm not here to sell anything. So, and I'm sure a few of you laughed about the jokes about the China hutch, but I'm not joking. Really, you really should take your China hutch and put it in the car. Some of you guys are going to be going down I-99. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go to I-99 with that China hutch hanging out the back of your Miata. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have one dress, one shoe, one high heel in there, but that damn China hutch will be with you. I understand that and the children and your babies and all that, but look, you got to go, man. Stick to stuff in storage and do what you have to do. If you could survive another year through the situation, then I could probably slowly get a lot of you out of it. But right now, you got to be in survival mode. And that's the best way to look at the situation is, do I want to survive this or do I want to be a victim? I don't want you guys to be a victim. That's the whole thing. So, all right, let's take a look and see what the video numbers are looking at. We're at 63 people. That's pretty high. So I think that some people are looking at it. I know we've had recently a lot of visitors. We had NewYork.gov, we've had California.gov, Texas.gov. We've had, I think, 9 different state agencies visit my channel. I don't know if they're issuing bench warrants for me, if they're planning on investigating me or if they appreciate what I do. However, I'm not doing anything illegal. So I think maybe these may be county employees and state employees just looking me up on their state computers. But if the district attorneys around the country are interested in me, I did publish my name and address on the website. So I'm not really, you know what? That's the best way to know this is not a scam. Who the hell would put their real name and address on their website? So I know that I'm honest in what I do. So let's take a look at the comments. Oh, Big D's here. So Big Daniel, that's my #1 commenter of the channel. He's a pet lover. So we'll give Daniel Beluga a thumbs up. Good seeing you again, Big D. LM, hey, good to see you, Miss Sanders. Miranda Nelson, I'm on 3 different waiting lists in Westchester County, New York for at least 10 years. I want to leave. If you've been on them lists that damn long, 10 years, then you must have given some pretty bad answers, man, because that's a long time to be on a waiting list. Even the worst I ever did with a client, I think was like 7 years on a list. And that was in the early days, and I wasn't as good as I am now. When you guys are reporting, oh, I've been on it 17 years, 10 years, that means they're not considering you for any preference whatsoever. You mean nothing to them. You get on a waiting list, and then more people enter, and your name just keeps going further and farther down the list. And so you might want to reconsider the answers you've given on your application and the priorities they're giving you, because it sounds pretty bad. Or either that they purged the list and you don't even know, which means they kicked you off the list 5 years ago and you don't know that. So unless you're getting recertification letters, don't let me scare you, but I don't blame you want to leave. There are better states that you can get that voucher much easier. Lots of states you could move to in the Midwest that you would likely get a voucher a hell of a lot quicker than 10 years. Miranda Nelson, okay, so we already answered that question. DT, only 10. I'm on at least 50. Now, there's a man that has my heart, or woman, DT says, on 50 waiting lists. You know what, guys? If you've got a list of every housing authority in America, then maybe you should apply at every housing authority in America if that's what it takes. I often send clients to 30 to 50, sometimes even 100. I will play musical chairs with housing authorities until I find a weakness with one of them, where I know that they don't have that many people applying, and that's where we'll get a win. And then you get your voucher. Yeah, it sucks for a year. You got to be out in some stupid county you've never heard of. But after your year's up, you could port back into wherever you used to live, which is usually, most of you guys are city dwellers. October Dawn, good to see you back in the channel. Probably a lot of folks telling their housing authority, but Jay says, so they're asking, Well, I can tell you the housing authorities hate me immensely. I get love letters from them all the time. I would love to read some of the things that some of the love letters that I get from them, especially employees. They say lots of nice, good Christian things about me. I don't give a damn about the housing authority, what they think or what they have to say. Uh, I would compare the people working at the housing authority as really, I don't know. I don't want to say anything disparaging, really, but I think you all have an idea what I might say about a housing authority employee. Their specialists are a little more than party clowns, in my opinion. I've never seen people so woefully uneducated in their job. And it's almost like they're bipolar or something because they're unable to maintain their mental faculties and attitude on the phone. So I think that maybe therapy lessons for the housing authority, hiring angry, upset people that seem to be challenged. It's disgusting. I understand that I have clients that have mental issues or other mental health crisis problems, but I work with my clients. I don't care if you're schizophrenic. Let me tell you something. I have no problem getting on the phone with somebody in full-blown manic schizophrenia and let's get housing. As long as you can understand what I'm saying, you're willing to work with me, you can be 10 shades to the wind and I'm still going to work with you. That's the difference between me and other people that simply are too good to talk to certain people. I address everybody. If you told me, hey, Jay, you know what? I robbed 13 banks. I just got off the prison bus. Hello, sir. How are you doing? I'll treat you with the same kind of respect. If you told me I just turned a trick, I'm a prostitute. I just turned a trick at 3 o'clock. I'm still going to treat you as a good client. I don't give a damn what you're doing. My job is to get you what you need and give you the respect that you purchased. Okay. So I'm not out here to judge anybody. I'm willing to help anybody, no matter how bad your situation is. You got to learn. I've got at least 3 clients that have memory problems. In other words, I might tell them things and 3 days later they don't remember. So we have to do it again. So I put a lot of effort into not being prejudicious, racist, and other things where other consultants out here, they can only tolerate the high educated. I don't have to tolerate people. I love people. So it doesn't matter who you are. I love to work with people. Anyways, Sullivan Bryant, push the like button. There you go. Yeah, hit that like button. If you really can't stand me, what I'd like for you to do is to please pause the video. I would like you to take a half hour to have an emotional breakdown, and please dislike all my videos. Dislike them twice. Log into all 11 of your YouTube channels accounts and dislike my videos as much as you can. And let me tell you how that's going to work out. I don't give a damn. Like them, dislike them as much as you want. I love trolls. You know what? I'm going to buy a treasure troll and hang it around my neck because it doesn't bother me. Some of these people that come and troll my channel, I put out about 300 trolls, all right? So I block them from commenting because they think bad things. I don't mind. Y'all can come over here and dislike these videos. It doesn't bother me. I think of it, you're giving me, it's like a box of chocolates each time you do it. You get me excited, keep my life spicy. Keep saying hateful things in my channel. Keeps it spicy, keeps it interesting. I don't want to be boring. So trolls keep me busy. I like busy. All right. So yeah, if you want to like it, definitely like it. So, all right, guys. So I'm going to take a look at the time of the video because right now I'm just rambling. I think we covered the magnitude of the video. We're at about an hour and 12 minutes. Guys, if y'all have questions about Section 8, low-income housing, whatever, now would be a great time to ask those questions. We'll try to address them. And then I'm going to wrap this up in about 15 minutes because my vocal cords are getting tired. And I've got a lot of y'all to talk to tomorrow. I got a lot of you to talk to for about 3 weeks right now. Yolanda, how are you today? It says I have court on Wednesday for an eviction in South Texas. I am on the Texas Rental Relief Program list, and I call daily. I have been expedited, and I just wondered, so what you want to do is make sure that you present that case before, if you could pull over the in-house counsel for the other side, so whoever's representing from the state, and see if you can negotiate with the landlord. I mean, the landlord can either take a complete loss, or they can accept the terms of you receiving that. So try to negotiate that deal if you can. Crystal Cares, RN. Hey, how are you doing? It's one of my favorite nurses. I had to pay for a call with Jay, and he was wonderful. He is the best when it comes to Section 8. So Crystal Cares is going to be my new spokesman for the channel. Yep. She's going to help me troll my trolls. You know what, guys, if you're new to this channel, a lot of people know me, okay? I don't have to pay anybody to come here and comment, okay? I don't do stuff like that. All these people know me because they've been to this channel repeatedly. A lot of people that come to my channel are social workers, they're counselors. I have a lot of attorneys that deal with me, a lot of developers, builders, landlords. So these are real people. I don't ever go out and buy anything fake, just in case you're wondering. So, all right, so let's move on here. Sonia, another long-time client, applying to see several housing authorities in different jurisdictions, but I'm stuck with the address UPS. Stuck with the address. UPS has a street address, but it's costly. You know, one thing you can try, guys, when you're trying to fudge the system, and I know what you guys are doing. When you apply for 30 different housing authorities, you're trying to get 30 different addresses to get a zip code or a county preference. Rather than buying a bunch of UPS address, real street address, try using a virtual office because they can literally change you door to door. So every door in that gigantic building has a different number. So try VAing. And if you don't want to do that, go to Fiverr, Fibber, Fiverr, and you can hire one of them guys in China, India, or Russia, and they can keep giving you rotating addresses. It's kind of like the legal black market of things. And so it's called Fiverr. And most of you know what that is. It's supposed to be people doing shit on us, but they're not. So, which fits in perfectly because since the housing authority is like the devil, and I'm like, I don't know, somewhere between an angel and a demon, you've got to figure out ways to do things. And so, you know, we're always kind of crossing that line back and forth of what to do. But anyways, let's see. Moving on, Cynthia Rose Johnson. I was asking, would I be able to go to North Carolina if I sign up a COC in Florida? No. Continuum of care, housing first, or the McKinney-Vino Act does not allow you to take county-sponsored funds. So the federal funds given to county out of state. So when you walk out of that COC, you're done in that state. You'll have to repeat the same process over there. The only thing you can port across the nation, across state lines, is going to be the housing choice voucher, which is attached to a lot of different types of funding, like Section 811, 202, 504, and so on. Sonia says, thank you with flowers, houses, and smiles. Okay, I'm good with that. Cynthia Rose Johnson, to show you how bad it is in Central Florida, I'm homeless in 2 months today. I'm homeless 2 months today. I had my assessment COC almost 6 weeks ago. Actually, Cynthia, your cap in Florida right now is 90 days. So you should expect things between now and 90 days. I'm sorry I didn't tell you guys. Well, I didn't say it last year in December. If you're in the state of Florida, likely COCs will be around 90 days. And after the following week, it could get a lot more intense than that. It used to be 35 in most places, but now it's moving up to 90. There's no funding left. So I feel you're in a situation. How are things in Georgia? They're de-evolving quick. A lot of people leaving Florida and going to Georgia. And so I would avoid Atlanta. I would avoid Atlanta right now. Situation's pretty dire with the housing situation over there. So Brian, yes, Orange County is bad. No, Orange County is the worst. It's the worst. LA is the worst, and Orange is number 2. Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, Miami, terrible. I'm so shocked my own city of Houston's not there yet. It's pretty bad, but yeah. So that's pretty rough. All right, guys. Look, I've enjoyed talking with you. I think it's time to wrap this up because my vocal cords are really getting strained at this point. So it isn't as much as I had hoped. You know, I was well prepared with the first video. I screwed up and then canceled. And then this one's just been, I don't know. Hopefully it's been useful or something or shock value. Or I hope to see y'all guys again. But next time, I'm just going to do it on this computer because I think I'll sit there for 10 minutes with a black screen before I could figure out what the hell was going on. So Crystal says, do you have any resources on how long the states have to pay rent with CIRA? I think I do, but you'll have to shoot me an email about that because I'm going to go take a break from this. So, and then the Bacon tells me, Miss or Mr. Vegas says, gave me some praying hands. So, all right, guys, I'm going to head on. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll touch base again Monday. and then we'll keep working on this, see what we come up with. I'll keep you all updated in the community page to see. We may see additional legislation for different states, and then the president does have the option to step into this holy mess and undo it. But just remember something: it's just a stall tactic. Do we want everybody homeless now, or do we want it to happen on Christmas Day? That's the tough choice this president has to make. There is no good choice left. We're going to put people out right now in the summer. Do we put them out for Thanksgiving, or do we put them out in the cold in the middle of winter? Do we put them out on Christmas Day? There is no good time. And so that's exactly why everybody's stalling around the country, because there's no good time to evict people. So I do really feel like this is going to be the last extension, and that it will fall apart, as I had mentioned, in another 7 days. But if we can get us people to stall, let it stall. If not, then it's just going to have to happen. It has to happen sometime, for both tenants and landlords, because this needs to, for us to go forward, we're going to have to go through it. We cannot drive around this disaster at all. There's no way. We're going to have to drive through it and work through it. So, all right, y'all have a good night.